Hey guys, Christopher Griffith, Debt Does Deals, wanting to hop on here and do a quick live for you and break something down because I need to. Debt does deals. What do I mean when I say debt does deals? Well, I have an outline here and I want to make it a little bit clearer for you because for me, it was a change in concept to how I thought. I thought for the longest time that my values or my money was the most important thing to achieve my future. And what I realized in a couple different ways was that might not be entirely true. So what do I mean by debt does deals? For me, I'll start out by saying 88% of the people that purchased homes in 2017 financed their home purchase. So their biggest purchase ever, their future, their dreams were accomplished 88% of the time with financing. For me, the aha moment happened when I used a VA home loan that I'm eligible for after my service to purchase a home for zero down. I did not have to have a down payment per se to purchase my home at all. There were some closing costs and other things that can be worked into loans. You can pay separately. So all of that aside, it's a zero down payment loan. So basically a loan or debt in a vacuum. It's the concept of borrowing everything versus having to have something to borrow. Because if you understand debt and you have the right programs and products available to you, if you run into the right opportunity, 88% of the time last year, the biggest opportunity you're going to run into, your home, you're going to accomplish with debt. So it's more important necessarily than money even in accomplishing the biggest thing that you're going to do. So there's a couple problems with this. The first thing I had to realize was, one, that debt, like fire, it isn't good or bad, guys. All different types of debts can accomplish all different types of things. And there's certainly 1,000 types of debt that exist out there that you wouldn't necessarily recognize as a debt necessarily. So I'm not going to break that down too much other than just to say if you had to give up all fire today and everything that fire produced so that you might not burn your house down, would you? I mean, that's, electricity issues, any of those things that could cause a spark or fire. If you had to get rid of all of that for the fear of burning your home down, would you? No. You adapt, you learn to make it safer, you learn how to use it, you learn how to use it safely and where to safeguard against it. And you even put active measures in place to, repel it if it does happen to show up. So debt, a lot like fire, can be good, bad, ugly. It can accomplish all sorts of different things. But the problem is, education. Where do you go to learn about debt? Or who teaches what debt's good or when's debt good for this and bad for this and when is it okay for that and what are the things to watch out for? What one person can you go to in your life right now from your school system, maybe your parents if they're successful and they've managed some of the same things, but where can you go to get an actual expert to explain to you what you need to know? That's part of the biggest problem, lack of education. So we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But the last thing I'll say with the 3 points that I want to hit home with is you've heard credit or access to credit lifts a nation, right? You see all of these programs that are designed to help low-income people out of those situations by extending credit opportunities. Guys, credit for the nation, right? Access to credit for a nation is very similar to debt for an individual. That's their means to accomplish the credit, most likely. And there's all sorts of values scattered all over the field as far as what debt can do for you, what certain types of debt at certain times can do for you, and how to use them. So the actionable step here is to get educated. There's a bunch of different ways to get educated. You can read a few different books that are out there. If you message me, I'll send you some different authors, some different book titles so that you can go to Amazon and download. You can speak to an independent mortgage advisor, right? I think that they're the best person to advise across the board because they consider the most amount of debts on a daily basis in order to achieve their clients' goals. And in the process of that, they have to understand all of the different other types of debts that exist out there that include things like your 401k, right? Because the government ultimately would be the lien holder with you anyways. But so they have to consider the most types of debt and they understand how one affects this one or might not affect this one, but they understand the total picture because they're the ones working with the underwriters. They're the ones getting the most difficult debts, right? Your mortgage, those things accomplished, and they have the most scrutiny with the government. At least the brokers do. Keep in mind now, a bank doing your loan, right, where you go give your money to, they do car loans and checking and savings and all of these things. Those guys necessarily aren't experts across the board. They have a certain set of bank products that they sell, and that's all they sell. And because of that, they just can't consider all of the options. And not only that, but a lot of them aren't even licensed the same way an independent mortgage advisor would be licensed either. They just have to simply register with the system. So find a debt expert, talk to them, let them guide you through the process. If you want to get set up on some emails, message me your email address. I'd be happy to set you up on some pointers specifically based upon your need, if you can communicate that as well. Because here's what I'm saying. If I'm right, guys, that understanding debt in the beginning of your life may be more critical to determine whether you're successful, at least in the short and long term, quicker thereafter, by understanding debt. My argument is I think you need to understand debt as well as, if not better than how you understand money, because it can accomplish more, and when you don't understand it, it can drag you down. When you use the wrong types of debt and too much of debt, you over-obligate your futures for the wrong reasons, you rob your now. And that's what I want to help stop. Let me help you. If you have questions, feel free to send them over. I respond to nearly anything. Y'all have a blessed day.